Fa la 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 la. Hey, it's a special bonus episode of Velvet Owl Watches Movies so you don't have to. For you as my Christmas present that hopefully I managed to upload on Christmas. And hopefully you're listening to it on Christmas. If not, well, whatever. Happy whatever day it is that you're listening to this. But this is a bonus episode. And I'm also going to try, and hopefully it'll be a Christmas miracle if I pull it off. I'm going to try to not swear at all during this episode. Because I think I've been swearing too much, and baby Jesus doesn't like that. And since this is an episode being done for the baby Jesus, I'm going to try to keep it clean. We're watching Christmas Twister, which I don't know. I don't know if it's basically the movie Twister, but set during Christmas. I'm just hoping that there's some flying cows, because that was like the best part of Twister, was that there was flying cows. So I'm hoping for flying cows, dressed like Santa. Flying reindeer. And not flying because they're reindeer that fly for Santa. Just reindeer that got sucked up in the tornado and are just flying around. This stars Casper Van Dien, who is like the ultimate bad actor. He is the, Laurence Olivier of bad actors. He's fantastic. I love him because he is just so bad, but he's so awesomely bad. So I'm actually excited for this. So let's see what happens when Christmas is taken by a twister. So we start off with this family, and the dad kind of looks like Christopher Maloney from Law and Order, Special Victims Unit, just to specify. Although now he's got another Law and Order show, isn't he? He's in the spinoff because he left SVU. But anyhow, it kind of looks like him, but it's definitely not him. He's too good to star in this kind of trash. But they pull up to the gas station to fill up, but the wife and daughter are hungry. Luckily, there's a diner right next door to the gas station. And by next door, I think it's part of the gas station. Which I don't know why I'm acting like it's such a big thing. It's probably just a trucker stop, really. With one gas pump. So, not much of a trucker stop. But, this seems like a small town, so they probably don't get a lot of people stopping for gas anyhow. But they hear on this news, like, on the radio, like, there's a warning, tornado's coming. And fake Christopher Maloney is still pumping gas, and he sees the tornado coming for him. So he runs into the diner, and everyone's like, we gotta get to shelter. And luckily, there is a rackety little shelter right next door. And they all manage to get in and hide while the tornado comes by and throws tires all over the place. Because I think it's also part garage. So there's all these, like, tires, and it throws some cars with some really, really terrible special effects. And, it's worse than, like, CGI from the 90s, a lot of it, like the big budget stuff, has, like, aged very well. Like, better than the CGI of these days, which kind of blows my mind. But I would think that, over time, CGI software has gotten cheaper. So, shouldn't, like, low budget movies of these days, like, their CGI should still be a little bit better than the CGI of the 90s. I mean, not Terminator 2 or Jurassic Park, because, you've got James Cameron and Steven Spielberg spending all the money to make the most brilliant special effects ever. But, on the level of the original Twister, I think it should be, we're 20 years out from that film. So I think CGI these days, even low budget, should still be kind of on par with that. But this film probably doesn't even have that much budget, because next is probably the greatest thing I've ever seen in a movie. And I am not, like, joking at all, because it's the title card, and it says Christmas Twister. But Christmas is spelled Christmas. they misspelled Christmas. What the hell? Like, apparently the budget for this film is so low, they can't even afford a spell checker. What the hell? How did that get through? And the filmmakers like, they're watching the final print and they're like, damn, I just spent my last $20 on this film. I don't have an extra 20 to go back and fix this. I mean, it would have been great if this was like a comedy, but this isn't a comedy. This is like a serious film. So that is just fantastic. I love it. I love you, Chris Tam's Twister. This is just awesome. This is the highlight. I don't think the movie can possibly get any better than this. It's 3 a.m. and Casper Van Dien gets woken up because he has to come to the office for something important. I'm guessing it has something to do with the Chris Am's Twister. Don't know for sure, but that's my guess. But turns out it's his anniversary with his wife, and so he wants to do something with her later, but she's got a work thing, and he's upset because he just wants some anniversary sex. Lady, just a anniversary beach or a hand job, an anniversary handy. The same hand job ruined my thing of not swearing during this podcast. I don't know, is hand job a dirty word or not? It's too late now. I've said it several times. We'll go with it. But an anniversary handy, just to make him happy, but I guess they've been having some problems. And so he says goodbye to his kids. I mean, not a final goodbye. Though, with the music, it kind of has that sense that he knows he's not coming back home. And he reminds his son that his son is grounded because apparently he took the power tools and made a nativity scene, just some woodworking. And I gotta say, it does look pretty cool. I don't know, I think this kid's 10 or something, and he made a pretty good, did some good wood carvings and made a good looking nativity scene. But, he didn't have permission to use the tools, so he does have to be grounded. So Casper Van Dien gets to work, and there's 2 interns. I'm guessing they're interns. Actually, the girl's definitely an intern. The guy, he might just be an assistant or something. He might actually get paid. But the girl, she's nerd hot, but completely stereotypical. She knows nothing about what she's working on. Seriously. They say, oh, the Twister was a category F2, and she's like, what's that? What? And come on, lady, even I know that there's F0 to F5, because I watched Twister. So if you're getting a job in a place that does weather and stuff like that and tracks tornadoes, you didn't at least watch Twister beforehand? But seriously, how do you not know F0 through F5? And then she asks, is there an F6? And the guys laugh it off oh, that's gotta be a nuclear bomb or something. So I'm guessing they're gonna get an F6 tornado. So that's the way these movies go. Not an F5. Now that's just Brock Lesnar. They're gonna get an F6. I'm sure of it. I'm betting my house on it. Against myself. Because I don't want to lose my house just because I thought this film was going to give me an F6. So, but the F2 was the tornado at the gas station, if you hadn't figured that out. But will we get an F6 tornado on Chris Am's? Possibly. Mrs. Van Dien, who I think actually might be the real life Mrs. Van Dien, because for the past decade or so, Casper Van Dien has had his wife in his movies. So, but she's not as recognizable, at least to me. So I think it's her. Might not be. But, she's a news anchor. So she's going into work because she has to cover the tornado. Because breaking emergency. I guess they have no other anchors to, do the story. And there's the local weatherman who's trying to get her to leave with him to go to Chicago. Because they're a good team. I I mean, I guess I don't follow like local news that much to realize that, there's a news anchor and weatherman like team. I mean, they got to have some good chemistry, but one leaves for another city and they're going to drag the other one with them. Like, oh, I can't do this without my anchor, 'cause I'm just a weatherman. Is there a song? There should be a song. I'm a weatherman. I mean, Bob Dylan told us we don't need a weatherman to know which way the wind blows. So, Mrs. Van Dien, you don't need the weatherman. Bob Dylan says so. Back over at the office, they I caught myself from swearing because I just forgot what they called it. Like a radar hook or something. Something hook. I'm pretty sure it was a radar hook. But apparently the tornado, even though it's long gone, has left some sort of... No, echo hook. Echo and or hook. One of those words were in this term. And I've already forgotten it. Which longtime listeners know, I tend to forget things really easily. I don't have good short-term memory. But anyways, the nerd hot girl is like, what's an echo hook? Or whatever it is you just said. Because she knows nothing about the job. But I realize she's the audience surrogate. Because we have no clue what any of these terms are. So she has to ask the questions to give Casper Van Dien and the douchebag a reason to explain what these terms mean. Otherwise, it'd just be weird exposition. But anyways, it's kind of like a tramp stamp or something. No, it leaves trace of basically saying another tornado's coming. Which is weird because, it's Christmas time. It's winter. Usually tornadoes are there in warm weather. But unfortunately, climate change has just thrown everything off track and made it all screwy. And this movie has a political message. Nope, it's not just mindless entertainment about tornadoes that are gonna sweep up some Chris Sam's tree. Have you caught that I'm still calling it Chris Sam's because of the typo in the title card? I like it. I'm still calling it Chris Sam's. So, but no, this isn't just some mindless movie. It's got a message. And that message is that climate change is real and it screwed us all and we're all gonna die. So Casper Van Dien calls his wife over at the news studio because he's watching newscasts and tell him like, hey, the weatherman's an idiot and he doesn't know what's going on because there is a hook echo. So I was close with echo hook. It's a hook echo that we learned, and I've already forgotten what the definition is. Who cares? We'll just go with it. Hook echo. There's another tornado coming, and you gotta warn the people! But Mrs. Van Dien's like, we went through this before, and there wasn't really a tornado, and we looked like idiots, and we're not gonna do that again. And he's like, no, you gotta believe me. This time, I'm right. And you know what? I bet he's right. Because, lady, we're gonna get an F6. Chris Sam's tornado. Aw, yeah. I don't know why I just threw that. Oh, yeah. F6 tornado just sounds sexy. Sexy like Mrs. Van Dien. The Van Dien kids are worried that mom and dad are going to break up because they fight a lot. Well, more the son is worried. Daughter's like, yeah, married couples argue all the time, so it's nothing. There's a plot point that may be important coming up later. I doubt it. All it's going to be is mom and dad, after their lives are saved from the Chris Sam's tornado, will fall in love and decide to stick together. It's a useless plot. It's a useless subplot. I don't care. But this guy's driving and his truck breaks down and he gets out like, oh no, my truck's broken down. And he looks up in the sky and, uh-oh, trouble's a brewing. A tornado is coming towards him. Oh no! And it doesn't look as like badass as the tornadoes that we've seen in Twister. So I'm guessing this isn't the F6. This is just the appetizer. This is the it's the henchmen that they send to survey the land and decide, okay, I can really F some S up here. See, I told you I'm going to stay clean on this podcast. But the tornado is coming for him, and his truck's not working, so he decides to run for it. And, I would laugh at the ridiculousness of it, like, oh, what does he think? He's going to outrun a tornado? But truth be told, that's what we're all going to do. If a tornado's coming our way, what else can you do? You're just going to run. It's instinct, fight or flight. And I doubt many of you are going to be fighting the tornado. That would be kind of ballsy. Like, bring it on, tornado. I'm Chuck Norris. True fact, in the history of mankind, there's only been one person to ever fight a tornado. No, not Chuck Norris. Teddy Roosevelt. Because he is the true badass. See, now I'm saying badass. Does that count against my attempt to stay clean and not swear? I mean, like 30 years ago, badass. Well, yeah, that's a swear word. Nowadays, I don't know. People just kind of casually throw it about. So I don't think ass is a swear word anymore. So as far as I'm concerned, this podcast is still clean. And the guy with the broken truck gets sucked up into the tornado. Over at the Weather Center, they get the alert of more tornadoes coming. Another F2, which I'm guessing is the one that just sucked up the guy. And they're looking like, oh no, they're starting to get closer to where Casper Van Dien kids are. And he's got to go rescue them. Well, not rescue them yet, because it hasn't hit. So he's trying to get to them before the tornado can hit and get them to safety. But will there be any safety? Maybe these tornadoes are like the shark in Jaws 4, where they're intelligent and are coming straight for their intended target and going to follow them wherever they go. So Casper calls Mrs. Van Dien. And by the way, who names their kid Casper? I've never understood that. Like, Mr. and Mrs. Van Dien hated their kid like, we're going to name you Casper. Or maybe he just decided to just take on that name. Like, I'm just curious how that come about. When he was born, was he like just so super white? Because really, he's just mega white. He's like the whitest white guy possible. So the name does fit. It's just kind of like a weird name to give someone. But he calls his wife and tells her, like, I'm going to get the kids. I'm going to get them to shelter. And you get to the shelter because it's coming. It's going to be big. And the reason no one else sees it is because they're using outdated technology. But I know I'm right. And she's like, well, you better be right. And she tries to tell the weatherman, but he's like, it was just a freak tornado that they just had, but look at the weather reports. Nothing bad's gonna come. Weatherman, he's using outdated technology as well. He doesn't see it. He can't see it because he's so focused on his career. Because, by the way, he's gonna get the offer for New York, and he really wants Mrs. Van Dien to go with him. Because, again, I don't know, I guess just the weird, like, synergy, like, news anchor weatherman dynamic that I've never understood I've never realized existed. But apparently there is one, and he can't do it without her. Because he's just a lowly weatherman. Now, the Van Dien daughter has skipped school to go to the mall with her friend, and the cute boy that she likes might be there. Ooh. And then her and her friend, they go and sit on Perv Santa's lap to give him a cheap thrill, like, because they both sat on his lap at the same time. Oh boy! Meanwhile, there's these guys in a camper driving, and I think they're storm chasers because they see the tornadoes coming, and they're all excited and start filming it. And then they see, like, oh no, the tornado has stopped chasing us, and it's moved. Tornadoes are becoming sentient. I'm telling you, they are aware. They know what they're doing. And it goes and stands in the way of a train. And F's that train's up. I swear, I'm trying to keep this clean. And I was hoping for more of a Like, it kind of just stops the train and knocks them around. I was hoping that the train cars would start flying up in the tornado. Because if you're going to go with that, just go all the way. But the guys are like, woo, we're going to make a fortune on YouTube. And is that possible? Can you really make a fortune on YouTube? I mean, are they like influencers or something? Like, have they reached the point that they can really monetize YouTube? And if so, how? I want to monetize my YouTube channel. Give me all the money. Give me pennies. That's probably all I would earn is pennies. But I'm okay with that. Just give me something. How do I get money from the YouTube? Over at the news station, Mrs. Van Dien is trying to sound the alarm. Like, oh no, we're in trouble here. You know, we got to let the people know. And they're all like, no, we can't panic the people. And the head weatherman, he's like, you know, the weather system, it's not showing that there's going to be any more tornadoes. You know, the same weather system you're using that missed 2 tornadoes in one day. You got to stop and think, okay, you know, maybe there's something here. Maybe Casper Van Dien is right. Or at least maybe we should take this more seriously and not completely rely on this weather system model that has missed 2 tornadoes in one day. But, you know, she tries to tell him, like, it's because you're not accounting for global warming. And like, oh, it's global warming. Because the head weatherman, he's a denier. He's like, you know, the weather is just part of the natural cycle. And if you go back like 100 years, there was times when the weather was really hot. So it's nothing. I just expect them to be like, you know, if global warming is real, why is it so cold in the winter? Except they live in Texas, so I don't think it ever really gets cold in the winter. Although, wait, no, because Texas just froze last winter. So, I don't know, like, it's not freezing right now, and your power grid's completely up. So, Texas, there's something going on with global warming, I guess. I don't know. Point is that the weatherman should stop listening to the model that missed 2 tornadoes. Like, if it missed 1, I'd be like, okay, you know, could just be a freak tornado. But, like, a few hours later, it missed another tornado. That's when you stop and go, okay, this map has missed 2 tornadoes in the span of a few hours. Maybe we can't fully trust it. Let's just be on the safe side and maybe take this new map model that believes global warming is real. Casper picks up his son and warns the principal, like, hey, you know, there's a tornado coming and all that. And so, principal, he calls for a tornado drill. Smart thinking on the principal, because then you don't panic everyone, but you get them to safety, and they think it's just a drill, but you've gotten to them safety. Smart principle. I like it. I'm glad that the son Van Dien is going there, because he's going to learn a lot. But unfortunately, you know, the daughter's not at the school, at her high school. So where would a teenage girl be? The mall! I mean, it's a stereotype, but it's true in this case. She is at the mall. And, the emergency weather service has just issued a warning. Tornadoes are on the way. Why did no one listen to Casper Van Dien? I mean, yeah, he was wrong before about it, but he wasn't wrong this time. And again, the weather system missed... Actually, Mrs. Van Dien reminds us, missed 3 tornadoes. I forgot all about the one that hit the gas station, which was the night before. So still within a 24-hour period, 3 tornadoes have hit that your system completely missed or on its way. And, you know, I don't think it's even a problem of global warming caused these systems to miss the tornadoes. It's that these tornadoes are sentient beings now. No weather model can predict for that. Tornadoes, they know what they're doing. They're like, we're gonna mess this town up real good, because we're tornadoes and we're a-holes. Luckily, being a teenage girl, she has a cell phone. So Casper calls her and says, I'm on my way to pick you up. I know you're not at the high school. We'll talk about that later. And she's like, what's going on? But then the signal drops, which might be bad, but hopefully it makes her realize, okay, something serious is going on. And it is serious, because then the air raid sirens go off, and everyone's looking around, and the sky is dark. Oh no, tornado has come. It's tossing about some cars and knocks off the hat of some carolers. Yeah, it happened. I guess the tornado wasn't close enough to suck up the Christmas carolers, but the winds were still strong enough to knock off the one guy's hat. Everyone in the mall is panicking. They're all running, and they're, we gotta get to the emergency shelter. So all the stores are locking up, and the front doors get locked up. But unfortunately, the cute boy that the Van Dien daughter likes, he was outside gawking at the storm too long, and he runs to the doors, and they're locked, and no one's there willing to open up the door for him, even though Van Dien daughter's yelling, someone open up the doors! And he gets sucked away into the tornado. So sad. Although I'd like to point out that the doors to the mall were manually locked, and it couldn't have been like that long between the locking and him like running to the front door, because he was standing there gawking for a long time. So whoever locked the door had to have seen him and didn't bother to, hey, you get your ass in here before you get blown away by a tornado. So either the guy yelled at and cute boy just didn't listen, in which case F him, he deserves to be sucked up into the tornado. Or B, some a-hole employee just saw the kid and be like, F it, I ain't got time to call for him. But they're all running for the shelter as the tornado starts picking up pieces of the mall and tearing it apart. Panic at the news station because they realize, oh no, we should have warned them. Except, the producer is kind of like, well, I made the decision. It's what I had to do. I didn't want to panic everyone. Meanwhile, the weatherman's like, F this, I'm going to New York. Which, it's kind of a dick move. And I don't really know how it's going to work, because is he driving there? Because I imagine, the airports have to be, closed off now, right? Because there's tornadoes attacking. How is he getting to New York in the middle of all this? And he tries to get Mrs. Van Dien to go with him. And she's like, no, I got to stay here with my family. And the people of this town need someone who cares about them, damn it. So I don't get, just in the middle of it, I'm like, yeah, I'm packing up and going to New York. I can't even process the dickishness of it, because I'm still stuck on how he's going to do it. How is he getting out of this town and into New York during, a massive tornado attack? Casper and his son make it to the mall, although they're late. Well, I don't know, I guess to say they're late. But there's all this damage. But luckily, they hear on the radio that the tornado did pretty much do extensive damage to the middle school. But no fatalities, because everyone was down in the shelter. So, good job, Casper, for warning them. And good job on principal for listening to the warning and deciding to take action instead of being like, well, this a-hole messed up before, and the weatherman says there's no tornadoes coming. He's like, the principal was like, I am not taking that chance, and I'm going to pretend it's a drill to keep everyone from panicking. I love the principal. The principal is the true hero of this film, in my opinion. Luckily, the Van Dien daughter is a hero like her old man, and she leaves the safety of the shelter to survey the damage and see if there's anyone left, if there's any survivors. And she finds one, and she manages to free her from the wreckage before a giant Santa's Village sign falls down that would have crushed her. Yay, Van Dien's daughter. Casper goes inside the mall, And it's a tearful reunion with his daughter. Yay, you're so safe. We're all safe. Everything's good. But then they go back to the car and, oh no, Van Dien's son is gone. Because he too wanted to be a hero. He too wanted to save people. He went to go find some girl's grandpa, and Casper Van Dien's checking all over the place, and his son's stuck underneath a piece of rubble, or a pile of rubble, which luckily the grandpa was right there to tell Casper, like, he was trying to save me, and the rubble fell on him. And oh no, it looks like his son is dead as he's moving the rubble. Nope, he's still alive. Oh, thank God. They had me worried there. I was worried that the Van Dien son was a goner. But no, he's still alive, and he is a hero. Casper Van Dien calls into the weather headquarters to get the latest. And the weather patterns are showing there's more tornadoes on the way. And they're headed straight for the power plant. I'm telling you, these tornadoes have become sentient. They know what they're doing. They're going for the power plant because they know they'll knock everything out, and that's the best way to kill everyone. They're also headed towards where Mrs. Van Dien is. So this is personal. These tornadoes are attacking all the places where the Van Diens are. They're sentient beings. So, but the daughter decides she needs to come with Casper in case he needs the help. But, he wants her to watch over the son. So her slutty little best friend, I don't know if she's slutty. That's kind of mean of me to say. Her hot best friend agrees to watch over the son and get him to Grandma's house where there's a bomb shelter. Or a storm shelter. Maybe it's a bomb shelter. If it's good enough to protect against a tornado, it's probably good enough to protect against a bomb. Mrs. Van Dien is worried because she can't get a hold of her husband or her kids. She doesn't know what's going on. Are they okay? Meanwhile, the producer, all she cares about is, this is going to be ratings gold, so get back on the air and warn everyone and tell them about the tornadoes. And then the producer steps outside to make a phone call, but there's no signal. And she looks in the sky. It's getting dark. The tornado is on its way. Meanwhile, all the roads are closed except for emergency vehicles and for the weatherman's truck. I thought he was heading out to New York. Looks like he's just heading out to do like an on-site story that will help him get the job in New York and show that he's awesome. And they hear the report. The tornado is headed towards the power plant. So that's where they're going to head. The weatherman and the cameraman, they arrive at the power plant where all the bells and sirens are going off. And the cameraman thinks that the weatherman is crazy for wanting to shoot live from location. I don't know what he was thinking was going to happen when they got there. Remember, the weatherman was like, let's go to the power plant where the tornado is headed. And the cameraman was the one driving. He could have at any point been like, no. Hells no. I am not driving up there. There's a tornado on its way. Are you crazy? But no, the weatherman wants to go on, and he wants to do it live from the top of the power plant. And the cameraman's kind of just like, oh, okay. I don't know. I'd be like, screw you. You can have fun. I am driving back out of here. Meanwhile, at the weather station, they're measuring the speed of the tornado. Oh no, it's the mythical F6. He's doing his weather report from the top of the power plant. And behind him in the distance, you can see the tornado. Which, I admit, if it were real life, it'd be a pretty cool shot of seeing the tornado right in the background. This film, not as cool of a shot because it's obvious green screen and CGI, and it's just all really badly done. But in concept, in theory, it's a cool shot. And that's all that anyone cares about, except for Mrs. Van Dien, who knows, this is insane. He's in trouble. Get him out of there. And he's obviously not paying attention to what's going on, because he's like, well, it looks like the threat has been averted, as the tornado is coming towards him. and it picks up one of those shipping containers and lobs it right at him and kills him. I'm telling you, they're sentient. They knew what they were doing. And probably the biggest news story since that lady, Christine, whatever her name was. And I don't mean that as disrespect to her. I just literally don't know what her name is off the top of my head. But when she shot herself on TV. And just to prove a point. And has this proved the point that TV cares more about ratings and sensationalism than human life? It does. Although it kind of reminds me of this part in Half-Life 2, which is really fun in that you get to like be in a shipping container area and you've got this thingamajig that lifts them up and you can use them to squash the bad guys. And that was just a really awesome, like just super fun scene. So I'm not a big gamer guy, but the Half-Life series, those were always fun. I like them. If you like video games, play them. They're fun. Mrs. Van Dien then gives the producer a pep talk telling her, it's not your fault. Even though it was totally her fault because, she was so focused on ratings that, she didn't care. She was just going to send people out into the eye of the storm. And yeah, it was the weatherman's dumbass who decided to go on top of the power plant. But still, come on. He was doing it because it would be good ratings. And that's what the producer wanted. And granted, I don't know why he cared what the producer wanted anyhow, seeing as he was gonna, leave for New York anyhow. So he was really doing it more for himself than for her. So, yeah, okay, producer. It's not completely your fault because he would have done it anyways because he's a dumbass. And then Mrs. Van Dien tells everyone else in the studio, the people kind of in the back that make calls and stuff. I don't know. It seems like a telemarketing office, really. It's just all cubicles. So I don't know what really their job is, but she tells them all that the tornado is coming and they need to head downstairs to the shelter. And they all get scared. Which I'm not sure why they weren't like all freaking out beforehand. Because shouldn't they have at least heard that, their top weatherman just got his face smashed in by a shipping container? The tornado blows through. Windows are breaking. The building's shaking. And there's all sorts of falling debris. But using her superhuman strength, Mrs. Van Dien manages to move the rubble out of the way to save the pregnant lady. Did I mention there was a pregnant lady? Yeah, there's a pregnant lady that works in the office. I think she's like Mrs. Van Dien's assistant or something. But Mrs. Van Dien, like seriously, like just tons of like debris and rubble. And she just moves it out like it's nothing. She just has to take her shirt off. She's got a top on, like a spaghetti strap top, but it still looks sexy. Oh yeah. Plus that superhuman strength, major turn on. I can see why Casper Van Dien wanted you, baby. I know why. Because you save pregnant women from rubble. But apparently it sapped Mrs. Van Dien of all her strength. And she can't really go much farther, and the exit door, the emergency exit, is locked. And they just don't know how to get through, and they're running out of air from all the smoke. But luckily, Casper Van Dien and his daughter find them in time. But the pregnant lady is unconscious. Oh no! What's gonna happen? Is she dead? No, because Casper Van Dien performs some CPR and saves her life. And then he starts making out with his wife. Some PDA. Oh yeah. Everyone's safe and sound now. No more casualties. At least that can be found. Oh, hey, one of the production assistants was Casper Van Dien the 7th? I'm sorry, I'm letting this play during the credits, and I just looked up and saw that there's a Casper Van Dien the 7th. Which I don't know which one in the line Casper Van Dien the actor is. He's not that old. So I'm guessing if he has if there's a 7th that's old enough to be like a production assistant, I'm thinking the actor is probably Casper Van Dien the 6th. The 5th at the very, very stretching it. I don't think he's a grandpa. If he's a grandpa, I don't think his grandkid would be old enough to be working on a movie as a production assistant. But who knows? Because nepotism in Hollywood. Wow. There's a Casper Van Dien the seventh. Now the rest of the movie doesn't even matter. like, why did I let this play while I'm trying to recap the ending of the film? Because now I'm like completely distracted by that. I will look up after I finish recapping. I will look up to see how many Casper Van Diens exist in the world. It's only right. So where was I? Yes, everyone's safe and sound, and at the weather station they're looking at the weather, and no more. Why do I want to keep saying no more? No more tornadoes are on the way. Hooray! And the nerdy guy and the nerd hot girl make out, because I always knew they were going to get together. I didn't. Did I? I don't remember if at the beginning I said they were going to hook up. I don't think I did. Because they were like such non-developed characters, I didn't care. And so they're having a cookout now, the Van Diens. I thought maybe they like left town to go to some resort or something, but no, it's their home because the nativity scene that kid made, which was super awesome, is still standing. Which, wow, it survived the F6 tornado. But then again, so did the house. Like, only like some shingles were like stolen from the house. Wouldn't an F6 like completely like level a town? I would think. Like, shouldn't an F6 be strong enough to like basically pick up a building and throw it across the city? I mean, I'm pretty sure an F5 does that. What level of the tornadoes were in Twister? I don't know. I'm pretty sure they were F5, and they seemed strong. They were strong enough to throw a cow. This film did not throw any cows, because they probably could not afford to bring a cow onto set. Very disappointed. But they had their cookout. The girls are in bikinis. Casper Van Dien is shirtless, because that's a good way to end it. And who the hell has a barbecue for Christmas? Like, seriously. That's what's wrong with this movie. It was set in Texas, and it was way too warm and hot, so it never really felt like Christmas. And there was no snow, and they're having a barbecue. I don't know, maybe it's something that really does happen in Texas. They have the Christmas. It just sounds stupid now when I'm saying it. The Christmas barbecue. I don't care. This was Chris Am's Twister. And, happy ending, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to check to see how many Casper Van Diens are in the world. So the actor Casper Van Dien is Casper Van Dien Jr., and his son is Casper Van Dien the seventh. And I don't know how that works. I mean, are you legally able to skip, like, Casper Van Dien 3 through 6? Is there a Casper Van Dien 3, 4, 5, and 6? Because Casper Van Dien 7 suggests that there should be. And I don't know, because I can't find anything about them. They must be laying low, hiding out. I don't know. All I know is, theoretically, there are 7 Casper Van Diens out in the world. And that makes me feel a little bit better. velvetale@hotmail.com if you want to email me. Or you can leave a comment if you're on YouTube. Or one of the other places that might have comments. I don't think anywhere else allows you to leave comments. But, I mean, it's not like any of you do anyhow. So, I love you all. Have a very Merry Christmas. And I'll see you in the new year. Although I won't actually see you, because this is an audio thing.